Okay, today we are going to look at the crossruff. Normally, when you play a hand, you're in a suit contract, you are not trying to score extra trumps, extra tricks with trumps in the master hand. If you have the ace, king, queen, jack, 10 of spades, and this is your trump suit, you don't gain an extra trick by trumping with the 10 of spades. You're getting those 5 tricks. Where you do get your extra tricks is if you have a loser in your hand and you trump it using dummies, one of dummies' smaller trumps. That's the only way you can get an extra trump trick. If, however, you play the hand trying to make each of your trumps separately, in other words, score all of your trumps in the dummies separately, all of your trumps in your hand separately, this is known as the crossruff. And in this type of play, you do not ever draw any trumps. You're trying to score all your trumps separately because every time a trump is led, it takes out 2 of yours. So I want to caution you, and I'm going to caution you later on in today's lesson. When you are playing a hand by a crossruff, if there is any other way you can, any alternate way in which you can play this hand, it's best not to play it as the crossruff. Sometimes that's the only way that play for the hand that you have. The reason being, the peril, the danger is that at some point while you are cross-ruffing, one of the opponents is going to over-ruff. And when they do, they're going to lead a trump that takes out 2 of your trumps. And when they do that, there is no plan B. You are going set in this hand. So that's why I'm cautioning you, if there is any other way to play a hand other than the crossruff, then you want to try to use that way in preference. So we're going to begin by looking at several hands. And I want to look at the first hand. Crossruff, when you're doing a crossruff, when you are in the planning stage, contract's over, opening lead's made, and the dummies come down, and you're making your plan. The way you determine whether it's going to be a crossruff or not is you count up your high card winners and the total number of trump tricks you need to take. And if it adds up to 4, if you're in 4 spades, then that's the way you play the hand. I want to look at this hand, though this is a very interesting hand, not only from, it is an example of a crossruff hand, but it's also very interesting from the bidding. When you look at this hand and you see that north-south is in 4 spades, and you look at both north-south hands and you say, wow, how in the world did they ever get to this contract? Neither one of them has an opening bid. Well, certainly they don't. South has 9 high card points and North has only 9 high card points, but yet they end up in 4 spades. Here's how I think the bidding on this hand went. East is the opening bidder. East has 11 high card points. Count up her high card points. She has 11 high card points. If you count up the number of cards in her 2 longest suits, you get 9. 5 for clubs, 4 for hearts. So 9 plus your 11 high card points adds up to 20. So this is the famous rule of 20 opener that you hear about. I don't know if I would open this hand or not, but people open it and they justify it based on the rule of 20. The rule of 20, you count up your high card points. She has 11 high card points. You count up the number of cards in your 2 longest suits, and you have 9. 9 plus 11 gives you 20, so she opens 1 club. Now we come down to the South hand. South has a beautiful spade suit to overcall at the 1 level. Has 9 high card points. Most people overcall anywhere from 7 to 17 points. This is a perfect overcall, vulnerable or non-vulnerable. It's 1 spade. Let's come over to the West hand. West is sitting there with 11 points and her partner has opened. She cannot bid 2 hearts because she does not have 5 hearts. She has 11 points. All she can do is make a double. This is the negative double. Same partner, I have 4 hearts. I also have some points. It's just a typical negative double. We look up at the North hand and North comes alive. Her partner is overcalled a spade. She knows her partner's got at least 5 spades. She has the singleton heart. She has two big aces sitting there. She has the big ace of clubs. And she says, I am not going to be afraid here. I'm going to be very bold. I'm not going to be a coward. I'm not going to just bid two spades. I'm not going to bid just three spades. I'm bidding four spades. So I think that's the way that North-South got the four spades on that hand, and it's very, very reasonable. And so let's look at it. When you play a cross-ruff, you always want to cash any side suit winners you have. When you look at this hand, the lead of the king of diamonds, the dummy comes down, and you're the master hand, and you're looking at your losers. You see that you have no losers in the spade suit. You have all the big spades. You have three losers. South is the master hand. The ace of hearts is going to win, but you've got three heart losers that you've got to do something with. They are avoidable because you can trump them in the dummy. You have three diamond losers. That's not one thing you can do about the diamond losers. And you have no club losers. So you're counting your losers from the south hand. South hand has no losers in the spade suit. It does have three heart losers, but you're going to be able to ruff them using the dummy's trumps. You can't do anything about the three diamond losers they're going to take right now. And then you have only one club, so you have no club losers. So when you play a cross-ruff, you count your winners. You have the ace of clubs, you have the ace of hearts, and then you're going to have 5 trump tricks in the south hand and your trumps in the north hand, 3 in the north. And that gives you your total number of 10 tricks. So this hand, the only way you want to play this hand is with a cross-ruff. So how do you play it? Well, first of all, they take their 3 diamonds. You've lost your 3, you've lost your book, so you can't lose any more. And now, west and east, whichever one of them ends up in, I believe it's going to be west, it's going to be in, sees that there is the singleton heart, so she's now going to lead a spade. That's not going to hurt you because you win the spade, and now you don't draw any more trumps. There are 2 more trumps out after that, but you don't draw any more trumps. You play your ace of hearts, and then you just start cross-ruffing, clubs in your hand, clubs from the dummy in your hand, and hearts from your hand in the dummies. And you end up, you get your ace of hearts, you get your ace of clubs, you're going to make all 5 of your trump tricks in the south hand, and you get 3 trump tricks in the north hand. And you make, that is your 10 tricks, and you make this hand. All right, so I bring you down to where it says, of course, the danger in any cross-ruff is that sooner or later, one of these opponents might be able to over-ruff either you or the dummy. In this particular hand that we're looking at, after you're able to ruff 1 heart small, when you take the ace of hearts and you lead to 3 of hearts and you're able to get that little 3 of spades in, then there is no more danger of an over-ruff because now all of your trumps are larger than anything they have and they can't win by an over-ruff. And I want to also, in the next 2 hands are going to illustrate this. When you're playing the cross-ruff, any side suit winners that you have in your hand, like an ace-king, you want to cash those before you embark on your cross-ruff. If you don't, if you have not cashed your big ace-king winners on your side suits, what's going to happen is as you are cross-ruffing, those guys, once they run out of whatever you're cross-ruffing, they are going to start throwing in the suit where you hold the ace and the king. And then when you try to cash your ace-king, one of them's going to ruff. And that's going to be devastating to you. So you always want to cash your side suit winners before you execute the cross-ruff. Now in this next hand, you are in 6 spades. And you get the 2 of spades lead, which is not normally what you would expect. I want to talk about the bidding of this hand, if you would permit me so. South has 12 high card points. 5 spades and 5 hearts. She has 12 high card points. She's going to open a spade. Pass by west. And now North has 3 ways to bid her hand. She can bid 2 no trump at this point over 1 spade, the Jacoby 2 no trump bid, after which South is going to bid 3 clubs, alert, singleton or void in the club suit. And then they're going to Q bid, and eventually one of them is going to launch into the key card, and they're going to get to 6 spades. A second way this hand could possibly be bid, South will open 1 spade. North could do a splinter bid, could bid 4 hearts, which says I have a singleton or a void in the heart suit, and I have spade support for you. Normally, if you have a hand as strong as North, you don't do the splinter bid. It's just recommended that's not the way you go. Only if you, maybe if you had 11 or 12, there you've got 13 points. It would be better not to do the splinter bid. But this is a way that some people would bid this hand. They would bid 4 hearts showing splinter bid, and you go into 4 no trump and you get to the slam. Possibly a better way, and I'll point out why this is the case, is to bid the 2 over 1 game force, not go through Jacoby and not go through the splinter bid. Bid the two clubs, which is 2 over 1 game force, and then you eventually get to your slam that way. When you go through Jacoby 2 no trump, South is going to respond 3 clubs showing short clubs. West is sitting over here listening to that. If you go through bidding 4 hearts, the splinter bid, West is sitting over there. She's going to be making the opening lead. She's listening to that. She's paying attention to the bidding. She knows by either Jacoby or the splinter bid that there's a singleton going to be or a void somewhere. Now, even though she's got 4 spades, and it's recommended that you want to make a forcing lead here, which would be the heart, because you want to try to make the declarer lose control of the hand. By the fact they've got to 6, and you know that singleton, that there is a singleton either in the heart or there's just a singleton or void in the club suit, she comes off leading the spade. If she does not lead that little 2 of spades, you are going to make 13 tricks on this hand. But by the fact she was listening to the bidding, if you went through Jacoby or you went through the splinter bid auction, she knows there's going to be roughing, that there's shortness. So she makes the best lead she can, and that is a spade lead. She will hold you to 6. You're still going to make your 6. If you go through the 2 over 1 game force way, though, it may not uncover that there's shortness in this hand. And so that's why sometimes making a splinter bid or going through Jacoby, if there's an alternate way to bid it does. These 2 bids give away so much information to your opponents when they're going to make that opening lead. So she was not savvy. She was not lucky, West. She listened to the bidding. And this is the kind of thing I'm wanting you to do when you're having to make those opening leads. So when you look at the losers, you have no spade losers. The South hand is going to be the master hand. Notice that you have no spade losers. You have 4 heart losers. The ace takes care of 1, but the South hand, remember you're counting your losers from the South hand. The South loser has 4 heart losers. Not to worry, you're going to be able to rough 3 of them. You would have been able, without that awful 2 of spade lead, you would have been able to rough all 4 of them. But now you can rough only 3, but that's okay. You're still going to make 6 spades. You have no diamond losers, and you see that you have no club losers. So spade is led. You take the 7 of spades. Let's look at the play of the hand. She leads the 2 of spades. You let it ride around, and you win it with your 7. Now, note that all of your spades are big. There is no, once the 7 of spades holds, you know that you're not going to have any problems with the spade suit. All of your spades are good at this point. So I'm going to go through the play of the hand. I can't go through, I have listed below the actual play of the hand, but I'm going to just go through them so that you can see the hand as I'm going over it. Okay. First of all, you want to, when he leads the spade, you take it with your 7. You want to cash your side suit winners. Always cash your side suit winners. So you want to cash your ace, king of diamonds, hoping against hope that there's no ruff. You want to cash your ace of clubs, hoping that nobody's going to ruff that. The only person who could ruff anything would be, of course, be West, because you find out on the opening lead that East has no trumps. So you set about to play this as a cross ruff. First of all, you must cash your ace, king of diamonds, and you cash your ace of clubs. And now you're just going to ruff your hearts in the dummy and dummy's clubs in your hand, and you're going to make 6 spades on this hand. No problem. But if you fool around and you don't, before you embark on the ruff, on the cross ruff, if you forget to cash your ace, king of diamonds, at some point, as you see about the second round of this cross ruff, West is going to run out. She only has 2 diamonds. And she's just going to sit back and wait. And you have used all your trumps now, trying to trump your hearts out. And now when you try to cash either your ace or your king of diamonds, West is going to bop in there and trump. So what I'm saying to you is you don't want to take a chance of losing those side suit winners. You cash those first before you actually execute your cross ruff. So in a true cross ruff, you never want to touch trumps. Unfortunately, West was listening to the bidding and led a trump. That kept you from making 13 tricks on this hand. You want to score all your dummies trumps separately and your trumps separately. The one time, though, that you don't want to use the cross ruff technique, and that's that last paragraph that you're looking at now, and you need to score the trumps separately. If you have a good side suit, such as ace, king, 4th, opposite queen, jack, 4th, this is not, you do not, as I was saying right at the beginning of the lesson, you do not want to play such a hand as a cross ruff. There's no way you can cash all your side suit winners in this if you have ace, king, 4th, opposite queen, jack, 4th. So let's look at an example of that. And in this hand, the guy gets to 7 spades, and some kind of bidding to get there, but they got there. Let's look first maybe at the bidding. South has 17 points. Count them up. South is the opening bidder, has 17 points. Opens a diamond. West has no bid. When you look at the North hand, she is going to bid. She's not going to say 2 diamonds. She doesn't want to do the inverted amount. She has 4 spades. She's going to bid a spade. And then it comes back down to the South hand, counting the singleton club. Now, you know, after each bid, you reevaluate your hand. So now South hand really goes up because she has 4 spades. She also has the singleton club. She doesn't have quite enough to say 4 spades. And your inclination here is to say, wow, partner bid a spade. I've got 17, I've got 4 spades, and I've got that singleton club. But remember, your partner's only promising 6 points and 4 spades when she bids 1 spade. You see that? You don't know if she's only got 6 points and you've got your 17, despite the fact that you've got the singleton club, it might not make 4 spades. So I don't think South at this point can bid any more than 3 spades. North is very happy to go to 4 spades. South hand launches. The 5 heart bid by the North hand says, I have 2 key cards. She has the king of spades. She has the ace of clubs. She does not have the queen of spades. So her 5 heart bid has to be alerted. She's showing 2 key cards. They are the king of spades and the ace of clubs, but she has no queen of spades. That doesn't bother South at all because South has the queen of spades, has all of the other key cards, knows this hand is in the 7 realm. I don't know if I would bid that or not, but they get to 7 spades. You should, the North hand should be designated as the master hand. So let's look at the losers. Let's come down and look at the losers. If you have North as the master hand, notice that you have no spade losers. North has no heart losers. The ace of hearts in South hand takes care of that. you have no diamond losers. But look at that side suit. You can't cash those winners without somebody trumping. And then, of course, the north hand has 3 club losers. The ace takes care, you have the singleton, she's going to be able to ruff her 3 clubs in dummy. Dummy now is the south hand. So you would not want to play this as a true cross ruff. You do want to ruff clubs from the north hand in the south hand, but you don't want to be trying to ruff hearts, that playing the ace of hearts and ruffing those 3 little hearts in the south hand in your hand. You will not make 7 spades if you do that, because you can't cash the ace, king, queen, jack of diamonds. They're going to ruff. So you can't play this hand as a cross ruff. So let's see how you do play it. The opening lead is the king of clubs. You win the king of clubs with your ace of clubs. You lead the 4 of clubs and ruff it with the 8 of spades in the dummy. You lead a small diamond to your queen of diamonds, and you ruff another club in the dummy. You play the ace of hearts, and you ruff a heart to get to your hand, and you ruff your final spade. You ruff your final club. Now here's the key. You need to ruff that final club with the ace of spades, not the queen. If you ruff with the queen, you've already used the 8 of spades and the 10 of spades to ruff the first 2 clubs. You now want to ruff your 3rd club loser. You have the choice of either ruffing it with the ace of spades or the queen of spades. You should ruff it with the ace. The reason being is now you have an easy way to get back to your hand. If you ruff it with the queen, now you've got to play the ace of spades, and how can you get back to your hand? The only way is to get back there with the jack of diamonds, and it might be that the diamonds broke 4-1 and somebody's going to ruff. So you want to ruff with the ace of spades that time, and then you have a way to get back to your hand. You lead the queen of spades back, your king of spades, your jack of spades, and 9 of spades. You have all big spades, and then you pull all the trumps, and now you cash your other 3 diamond. And you say, well, I'm going to take a chance of getting, if I trump with the queen of spades, I'll play the ace of spades, and then I'm going to take a chance on getting back there with the jack of diamonds. If those diamonds have broken 4-1, somebody's got a trump, and they're going to trump. So the safest way to play this hand, when the king of clubs is led, play your ace, play your 4 of clubs, ruff it with the 8 of spades. Take a chance, get back. Certainly you can get 1 round of diamonds in. 6 of diamonds back to your queen of diamonds. Ruff a 2nd club with the 10. Play the ace of hearts, ruff a heart small. Of course, you're taking a chance roughing the heart small, but get the 7 of spades. And now you lead your last club, probably the 7 of clubs you still have left in your hand. You have the choice of roughing it. You've already used your 10 of spades and your 8 of spades. You have 2 spades left. You can rough it with either one of those. You want to rough it with your ace because you want to unblock. And now you can lead your queen of spades, overtake with your king, play your jack of spades, play your 9 of spades if the spades are broken badly, and then just cash your 3 winning diamond tricks. And that's how you play that hand. The key here is, I'm not saying that it's okay to rough with that queen of spades. And then you try to get back, you play the ace of spades, and then you've got to get back to your hand to pull the rest of the spades. I'm just saying, if the diamonds have broken, if they break 4-1, somebody's going to over rough, and you have thrown a perfectly good contract out the window. All right, so this is just what I've gone over with you. It's impossible for me to have the hand for you to see it and also go through how it should be played. All right, you say, well, why in the world didn't you at the get-go talk about how to set up a cross ruff? Because I thought that perhaps it would be better to give you a couple of them, and then we talk about how you're setting up the cross ruff. I want to say here again that if there is any other way to play a hand rather than doing the cross ruff, it's better to use that alternate line. The problem is always that one of these opponents is going to overruff. If they do, they are now pulling a trump. They're playing a trump, taking out two of yours. There's no plan B. You're going to go set in the hand. So before you decide the only way to make it is to cross ruff, try to see if there's an alternate way, maybe setting up a side suit, roughing in the dummy, or something of that nature. The key ingredients for a cross ruff, you have shortage in one hand and length in the other, and vice versa in the other hand. So you have two situations where you have short, short, opposite length, length, and you want to try to score all your trumps separately. The key, of course, is you count your winners. Remember, when we talked about playing hands from a suit contract, we always talked about before, counting your losers and what are some ways you can get rid of the losers, how are ways you can eliminate these losers. In a cross ruff, you count your winners, and then you add up the number of trump tricks, separate trump tricks you need to get, and this will tell you how you need, if you can at least draw one round of trumps. Now, I want to look at this hand. This example 4, and this is another example of rule of 20, excuse me. South is the opening bidder. South has just 11 points. She has 5 spades and 4 hearts. The nice thing about this hand is all of her points are in 2 suits. This is a much stronger hand than it looks, because all of the points, the 11 points, well, except the jack, are residing in the spades and the hearts. You have 11 points. If you count up the length of your 2 longest suits, you have 9. 9 plus 11 makes 20. So this is another example of opening the rule of 20. I don't care whether you use rule of 20 or what, I would open this hand, mainly because it has such great play. It's a lot better hand than it looks because all of your points are concentrated in 2 suits. All right, so South is going to open a spade. I do not think that West, but these people do online, these virtual games, they bid with 0 points. She should pass. The North hand, she now knows she has 12 points. She also has 3 spades. Her partner's opened a spade. She knows her partner. She's thinking now her partner's got at least 12 points. She's opened the hand. She's got 12 points. She's got the singleton heart. Her hand goes up in value. So instead of bidding 4 hearts, the splinter bid, she goes to do the 2/1. She bids 2 diamonds. This is the game force bid. And when we come back to the South hand, South's feeling a little bit sick right now. I opened this and she thinks I've got a true opening hand and I don't, but you should always rebid. Your second bid should be to show the 4 hearts. So you bid 2 hearts, and North then probably doesn't need to jump all the way to 4 spades, but she does, because she doesn't really see that this thing, with her having a singleton heart, she knows her partner has length in the heart suit. Our best bet is just, let's close this thing out at 4 spades. There's no chance, I think, that there's going to be a slam in this hand. So what I wanted to show you was a second example of this rule of 20 opener. I think that anybody should open this hand, whether you use rule of 20 or not, mainly because all of your points are basically in your 2 suits. I think the North hand knows immediately this is going to go to game because she has the singleton heart. She has 3 spades. Her hand is worth about 15 points if you add for distribution. Her best bet is to bid 2 diamonds, the 2/1 game force. South comes back and bids 2 hearts. There's no need to give away any more information, just bid 4 spades, and that's where the hand plays. Okay, so looking at your losers, you have no spade losers. You have all the big spades. They're not going to get a spade trick. Hearts, South is the master hand now. Hearts, he has 3 heart losers. Clubs, he has, diamonds, he has no diamond losers because the ace of diamonds takes care of his jack. And clubs, he has to lose 2. The ace takes care of one of his losers, but he has 2 club losers. They come off leading the king of clubs. The opening lead is the king of clubs. You're in 4 spades. The opening lead is the king of clubs. So I'm going to go back up to the hand and we will play through the hand then. Notice that you have shortness in both diamonds and hearts. So we're looking at the necessary ingredients needed for a cross ruff. You have a long suit in diamonds and short diamonds in the south hand. You have a relatively long suit in hearts in your hand, but shortness in the dummy. So you have that ingredient. You have good trumps in both hands. You have no trump losers. If you play this by leading trumps, then you won't make the hand. The only way to make this hand is via a cross ruff. So let me go through this while you look at the hand. All right, so he's led the king of clubs. West has led the king of clubs. You play your ace of clubs, and you win the ace of hearts. You ruff a heart from the dummy with the 8 of spades. You cash your ace of diamonds. Now, normally I'd say, cash your big, but you happen to be at the initial lead. You happen to be in the dummy, and you've won the ace of clubs there. You lead the heart to your ace, and now you ruff a heart with the 8 of spades. At this point is when you cash your ace of diamonds. Remember, you want to cash all of your side suit winners. So you need to go ahead and cash your ace of diamonds. And now you're going to lead the 2 of diamonds and ruff it with the 2 of spades. And you're going to lead now your 6 of hearts, and you're going to ruff it with the jack of spades. And then you're going to ruff the 5 of diamonds with your 7. No. Look what happens if you ruffed with the 7. What happens is West sitting over there with the 9 of spades. What did you do wrong? Well, in the planning stage, you need to think about what are the trumps that are out. You have 5 trumps out to the 9 spot. You got lazy. You forgot the 9 of spades was out. And when you trump that second diamond with the 7, now West can over-trump with his 9. Why not, since you have all the big ones, trump with a 10? The 9 is not going to beat the 10. So this is the danger if you're not paying attention to the spot cards. The spot cards that are important is that 9 of spades. Where is the 9 of spades? Don't take a chance. How many times have you roughed small and they over-rough and you say, wow, if I had just played the 8 of spades instead of the 5 of spades, they wouldn't have gotten the 7 of spades and over-roughed. And you lost that trick. And you're saying, you're just hitting yourself in the head. Why in the world didn't I rough high? I wanted to point this out to you, that you need to be aware of the spot cards that are out. You do have all the big spades. You don't have any spade losers. But do you see that when you rough with that 7 of spades, that diamond, the 3rd diamond, what happens is now West holding the 9 of spades over roughs the 7 with the 9, and you don't make the hand because now they're going to cash some club tricks on you. All right, so the whole point of this hand was it is a cross ruff hand, but number 7 down there, you want to ruff that 3rd diamond with the 10 of spades, not the 7. Don't give West the chance. You don't know that West has the 9 of spades, and you're not in any trouble if East has the 9 of spades. But why take that chance? Okay, this is what I want you to work on for next week. This is the assignment. It is a cross ruff hand. I want you to lay it out. I want you to write down how you're going to make it. And if you want to send me a text or an email, how you would play it. But anyway, we will look at this hand next week. I have just a couple of more quickies that I want to talk about. From the first lesson I ever taught you all, we're about lesson number 22 right now. The first lesson, January the 11th, we talked about the 3 basic types of leads. And one of those was the forcing lead. And I just want to in some of these lessons, when I have an extra 3 or 4 minutes, is to refresh your memory on some of the things. East is in 4 spades. Where the south hand is going to be making the lead. You have 4 spades. They're little, but you have 4 of them. In this example, you don't want to lead your 4 of hearts to your partner's ace. You don't know she has the ace, but you're not wanting to get a ruff. This is the kind of hand where you make the forcing lead. How do you make the forcing lead? You take your longest suit and you lead it. You lead that ace of diamonds and you come on with a diamond. She has to ruff. East has to ruff. When you get in with the ace of hearts, North, when she gets in with the ace of hearts, doesn't want to give her partner a ruff. She leads a diamond. That forces the West hand has 4 diamonds. So you can keep leading diamonds forever every time you get in. Every time you get in, you or your partner, you lead a diamond, forcing the Clara to ruff, and eventually the South hand with those puny little spades is end up going having control of the hand. So this was our January the 11th lesson, and this is an example of where you make the forcing lead. And then I want to finish today by something that is so simple, but we forget it. A large number of tricks are won in any hand with low cards. Now, the first example there, you're hoping when you catch the ace, king, queen of, say that's clubs, that the 2 is going to set up. But let's say you're in a no trump contract and you have never touched this suit, but you're playing other cards. But as they are discarding, what you want to be, the one suit you want to be watching is clubs. Now, I know Carol and John and Doug, I can't do it yet, are counting cards in all the tricks as they play in all the different suits. But to me, the one suit I'm concerned about is trying to get an extra club trick. I would be watching as I am cashing all of my other winners to see if, in fact, one or more of them throws one or the other, or both of them throw a club. The club suit is what's important to me, and I'm hoping that at the end then that my 4th club will set up. I haven't worried so much watching all the other suits. It's just difficult for me to do right now. I can't do it yet. The second example, you're hoping the suit breaks 3-2. Usually when you have that 5 cards out, they'll break 3-2 more often than not. So here you would, if you have no other outside entries to the dummy, you want to begin by cashing your big winners, your king and your queen, and then going to your ace. If you have no other winners, no other entries over there, then if you have not cashed your king and your queen first, when you get over to the ace, you won't have a chance to get over to the ace. And if it has broken, if the suit has broken 3-2, to cash the little 6 and the 5, the 2 little cards. So you always want to cash from the short hand, your big cards first, before you go to the hand that does not have the strength, so that when you end up in the big hands, you don't get blocked by having to get back in your hand. All right. And I wanted to give you this one because this is one of the most frequent plays that's made when you're playing a no trump contract, particularly if you don't have any outside entries to the dummy. In this example, you want to try to get some of those smaller, let's say it's spades, in the dummy. You have to give away, if the suit breaks 3-2, you have to lose at least 1 trick. Lose that trick right now. Lead a small spade, the 2, or lead the 5, whichever hand you happen to be in. Duck it all the way around. Play low from both hands. Let them have their trick early. And now when you get back in, you're hoping that when you play the king of spades, and then you play your other spade over to the ace, that the suit has broken 3-2, and now your 2 little spades there in the dummy are good. If they're not, there wasn't anything you could do about it. But the ducking play is most frequently used in no trump contracts, particularly if you have a suit in the dummy, but you have no other entries to it. You give them a trick early, hoping then that when you cash your winner in your hand and you get to the dummy, that then all the other cards in that suit in the dummy will now be good. So we'll be looking at the ducking play quite a bit when we look at the no trump contract. Next week, we're going to focus on the dummy reversal. The dummy reversal is quite an interesting hand, way to play a hand. You trump in the long suit. You trump in the master hand. The master hand is the one, it always has the link in the trump suit. And you draw trumps in the short hand. And then it's just opposite from the way you think. You have to imagine that you get up out of your chair and you go around and you play it from the dummy side. You're going to be drawing trumps using dummies 3 They're always big trumps. And you're going to be trumping losers from the shorthand into the master hand. And that's why it's called a dummy reversal. It's quite an interesting way to play a hand, and frequently it might be the only way that you can make a hand. I think you're going to like it, so we'll focus on that next week.